Hi everyone, I'm Oliver. Welcome to English Flash Talk. Today we are going to dive into a topic that is essential for every student: describing your daily routine. Many people think they know how to talk about their day, but they often stick to very basic, repetitive vocabulary. In this session, we're going to upgrade your English. We'll show you how to connect your ideas and use the idioms and phrasal verbs that native speakers actually use. This isn't just a list of actions. It's about telling the story of your day with flow and natural rhythm. Joining me is Sophie, who will help us bring these examples to life.
Hi, Oliver. I'm so happy to be here. Talking about your routine is the best way to practice because you can do it every single day while you're actually doing the activities. It's like a constant English lesson in your head.
That's a great point, Sophie. Let's start right at the beginning of the day, the morning. Now, most students learn the phrase, I wake up and I get up. But Sophie, there is a subtle difference, isn't there?
Yes, Oliver. It's a classic mistake to think they are the same. I wake up is the moment your eyes open and you are no longer asleep. But I get up is the physical action of leaving the bed. For example, I might wake up at 7 a.m., but I don't actually get up until 7:15 because, well, I like to stay in bed scrolling through my phone for a bit. We've all been there, right?
Definitely. I'm the opposite, though. As soon as I wake up, I get up. The very first thing I do is make the bed. Remember, everyone, we use the verb make for this. We don't say arrange or fix the bed. After that, I head straight to the kitchen to brew some coffee.
I love that word, Oliver, to brew. It sounds much more professional than just saying make coffee. It implies a process. While Oliver is brewing his coffee, I usually stretch or do some light yoga. It helps me shake off the sleepiness.
Shake off the sleepiness. I like that. It's a very visual phrasal verb. Once the coffee is ready, I sit down for a moment to check my emails or scroll through the news. This is my quiet time before the day gets busy and loud.
After my morning stretch, I hop in the shower. Listen to that, guys. Hop in. It's a very common way to say you are going into the shower quickly. It sounds much more natural. After I dry off, I start getting dressed.
Notice that Sophie said getting dressed, not just putting on clothes. Get dressed is the complete process. In my case, I usually pick out my outfit the night before. This saves me a lot of brain power in the morning. I need all the brain power I can get.
That is very smart, Oliver. I usually spend 10 minutes staring at my closet like it's a puzzle. Once I'm finally ready, I grab a quick bite. This is an excellent idiom. It means to eat something small and fast because you don't have time for a full breakfast.
For me, breakfast is the most important meal, so I try to have something more substantial, like eggs or oatmeal. But regardless of what I eat, I never forget to brush my teeth and floss. Dental hygiene is a must, folks.
Absolutely. Now, let's talk about leaving the house. This is where the commute begins. Oliver, how do you get to work?
Well, I commute by car. If I'm lucky, the traffic is light, but most days, I get stuck in traffic. When that happens, I usually listen to a podcast, maybe even English Flash Talk, to make the most of my time.
Nice plug, Oliver. I work from home, so my commute is just a walk to the next room. No traffic there, thankfully. But before I start my workday, I like to set my intentions. I write down a to-do list with the 3 most important tasks I need to tackle that day.
That's a great habit. Using the word tackle makes the task sound like a challenge you are going to win. Now that we've covered the early morning, we need to look at how we transition into the most productive hours. Sophie, what's the first thing you do when you log on to your computer?
The very first thing is clearing my inbox. I try to reply to all the urgent messages so I can focus on my deep work later. If I have a meeting, I say I'm jumping on a call.
So, Sophie just mentioned jumping on a call, which is exactly where most of us spend our mid-mornings. But let's talk about that moment around 11 a.m. Hmm, you know that time when your breakfast is long gone, but lunch feels like it's a century away?
Haha. You mean the pre-lunch hunger? I know it well, Oliver. That's when I usually crave something sweet. I try to resist, I really do. But sometimes I just have to give in and grab a cookie.
Give in. That's a great phrasal verb for when you lose the battle against a craving. I'm a bit more, boring, I guess. I usually just power through until lunch. I find that if I stay focused on my workload, I don't think about food as much.
Power through. I like that. It sounds very determined. Anyway, once 1 p.m. hits, it's finally lunch break. Oliver, do you eat out or do you brown bag it?
Oh, I definitely brown bag it most days. For those listening, to brown bag it means to bring your own lunch from home, usually in a paper bag. Though mine is actually a very modern lunchbox, haha. It's cheaper and usually healthier. But on Fridays? On Fridays, I definitely treat myself and go to that taco place around the corner.
Tacos? Lucky you. I usually just whip up a quick salad in my kitchen. To whip up is a fun expression for making food very quickly without much effort. After lunch, I sometimes feel that afternoon slump. You know, that feeling where your brain just wants to take a nap right on your keyboard?
Haha. Please don't do that, Sophie. The listeners need you. When I hit that slump, I step away from my desk for 10 minutes. I might take a stroll around the block just to get some fresh air and clear my head. It's amazing what a little sunlight can do.
Take a stroll. That sounds so much more elegant than just saying walk. After my little break, I'm back at it. I usually spend my afternoon wrapping up projects. I hate leaving things half done for the next day.
I'm the same way. There's a special kind of satisfaction in crossing things off your to-do list. It makes me feel like I've actually achieved something. Around 5 p.m., I start to wind down. This is the transition from work mode to home mode.
Wind down. That's such a peaceful expression. I shut down my computer, tidy up my desk, because it's usually a mess by then, and prepare to head out. Since I work from home, heading out usually just means walking to the living room, haha.
Ha ha ha, the shortest commute ever. But for those of us who work in an office, this is when we clock out. It's that moment when you officially finish your workday. I grab my keys, say goodbye to my colleagues, and start the journey back home.
And that journey home is another great time to practice. I sometimes narrate what I'm seeing in English just to keep my brain active. The sun is setting, the bus is crowded, things like that.
That's a pro tip right there. Now, once we get home, the routine changes again. It's time to decompress. Sophie, what's your favorite way to relax after a long day of tackling tasks?
Let me think. I usually change into something more comfortable. You know, my favorite sweatpants. Then I put on some music while I get started on dinner.
So we've made it home. For many of us, the first thing we do is kick off our shoes. There's no better feeling, right, Sophie?
Oh, absolutely. It's the official signal that the workday is over. After I kick off my shoes and change into my comfy clothes, I usually head to the kitchen. I'm not a big fan of spending hours cooking at night, so I usually reheat some leftovers or make something simple like a stir fry.
Leftovers. That's a key word. The food you saved from a previous meal. I'm actually the opposite. I find cooking very therapeutic. I like to chop vegetables while listening to a bit of jazz. It helps me unwind from the stress of the day. Maybe I should have been a chef, haha.
Haha, maybe. I'll stick to being your taste tester. While I eat dinner, I try to unplug. You know, I put my phone in another room so I'm not tempted to scroll through social media. It's important to be present.
That's so true. We spend so much time glued to our screens. After dinner, I have a habit of doing the dishes immediately. I can't stand waking up to a cluttered sink. It just ruins my morning vibe.
Ugh, I wish I had your discipline, Oliver. I usually put it off until the next morning. To put something off means to delay it. I know. It's a bad habit. But instead, I prefer to curl up on the couch with a good book or binge watch a couple of episodes of a series.
Binge watch. We've all been there. Just one more episode. And suddenly, it's midnight. Haha. If I'm not reading, I might catch up with a friend on the phone. It's nice to stay in the loop with what's happening in their lives.
Definitely. Around 9 p.m., I start my nighttime routine. I dim the lights to tell my brain it's time to sleep. Then I wash my face and apply my skincare products. It feels like a little spa moment at home.
I'm a bit more low maintenance. I just brush my teeth, maybe write down a few things I'm grateful for in my journal, and then I hit the hay.
Hit the hay? Ha ha ha. That's a classic. It's an idiom that means to go to bed. You could also say, hit the sack.
Exactly. But wait, Sophie, before we get to the very end of the day, we should talk about prepping for tomorrow. I always set my alarm and lay out my gym clothes. If I don't see them right there when I wake up, I'll probably make excuses and skip my workout.
That's a great productivity hack. I do something similar. I check the weather forecast so I know if I need an umbrella or a heavier coat for my morning walk. There's nothing worse than being caught in the rain without a jacket. Actually, I think I'll go do that right now.
Haha, good idea. Well, we've covered almost the whole day, but there are still a few late-night details we haven't mentioned yet.
So we're finally at the end of the day. The house is quiet, the lights are low, and it's time to tuck myself in.
Tuck yourself in. I love that expression, Sophie. It sounds so cozy. It's that moment when you pull the blankets over yourself and finally get comfortable. But tell me, are you the kind of person who falls asleep the second your head hits the pillow?
Ha ha ha. I wish. Sometimes my brain decides that 11 p.m. is the perfect time to remember every embarrassing thing I did 5 years ago. I usually have to toss and turn for a while before I finally drift off.
Oh, I know that feeling. Toss and turn is when you can't find a comfortable position and you keep moving around in bed. When that happens to me, I try some deep breathing or listen to white noise to help me nod off.
Nod off. Another great way to say fall asleep. Well, Oliver, we've covered everything, from the moment we wake up to the moment we're fast asleep. It's amazing how many natural expressions we use without even thinking about it.
It really is. And for everyone listening, don't feel overwhelmed. You don't have to use all of these phrases tomorrow. Just pick out 2 or 3 that you really liked and try to use them when you think about your day.
Exactly. Maybe tomorrow morning, instead of saying, I will make coffee, you can say, I'm going to brew some coffee. Small changes, big results. Haha.
Well said, Sophie. Before we go, let's do a quick recap of our favorite expressions from today. We had hop in the shower, grab a quick bite, power through, and my personal favorite, hit the hay.
And don't forget whip up and brown bag it. Thank you so much for joining us today on English Flash Talk. It's been a blast sharing our routines with you.
It really has. If you enjoyed this podcast-style lesson, make sure to let us know. We love hearing about your own routines, even if they're a bit messy sometimes. Haha.
Haha, especially if they're messy. Until next time, keep practicing and stay curious.
Have a wonderful day, or if you're at the end of your routine, have a great night's sleep. Bye-bye.